to the Horror Hangout podcast where three bearded film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time. My name is Luke Condor with a K. I'm joined by my regular co-hosts, Mr.
Oh, both pointed. Andy Conduit Turner, hello.
And a Mr.
It's Ben Errington.
It's Ben Errington.
You'll never believe it. It's Ben Errington again.
So we were just talking about John Barrowman.
Yeah, so we thought, right, let's get this on the record.
It's a great way to start any podcast, is slating John Barrowman.
Well, I think he kind of deserves it in a way. So this is kind of horror news, I guess. The new film by M. Night Shyamalan came out called Old. John Barrowman tweeted a little video with he tagged in M. Night Shyamalan, I think some of the actors maybe as well, or maybe it's the cinema, I can't remember. Basically him calling the film shite, and then he said he asked for a refund, demanded a refund from the cinema, and then we were just complaining about him basically and how
I think, especially so he's an actor, he's a working actor, and it's just utter disrespect for the film industry asking for his money back. But also, I think you ask for your money back when you don't receive the services you paid for, right? So they've paid.
The cinema was broken.
Yeah. So they've paid to watch the movie Old, and the cinema have shown them the movie Old, regardless of what they think of it. You can't, because someone else could pay for Old and walk in and go, "That was the best film I've ever seen in my life." It's opinion based, so you can't go and turn around and say, "I want my money back."
Yeah, like it's only like you can like or dislike a film. It's a subjective thing, but you can't decide whether you pay for it or not based on how much you like it. You can be disappointed for yourself. Like if I had you couldn't go to Macca's and have a Big Mac and then go, oh, like I ate it all and everything, but I actually only like chicken. Don't know why I did that. Hated it.
Yeah. Consume all of it.
That was shite.
That's a shite. And then Ronald McDonald isn't going to come out there and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, sir." Here you go.
Yeah.
It's basically a dick move to ask for your money back, I think, because I've been to cinema and seen films that I really didn't enjoy and I really hate, but I would never dream of asking for my money back. Because
have you ever walked out of a film?
No, I don't think so. I don't think
I feel
I
like
have.
I pay in the same way, like if I pay for food, I'll eat all of it regardless because I paid for it.
Yeah,
I feel the same way with a film.
I've seen plenty of awful films,
like a horrible undercooked piece of fish. If you eat it, it's going to make you terribly ill. Well, I paid for it, so I'm gonna
pretty much.
Yeah. You don't. It's just one of those things that's not done, especially when you're probably someone who earns a lot more than.
Well, yeah, somebody who earns a lot of money and somebody who is an actor, a working actor, and somebody who's been in movies. So he's been in a movie, Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. Don't want to shit on Shark Attack 3 Megalodon. Never seen it, but in terms of like talking about levels of quality, I mean, I guess, it's opinion based, but it's just a bit of a dick move. And to put it out on Twitter and he got absolutely dragged for it as well, so it's not like anyone's gone, good on you.
Yeah.
And didn't he get like accused of getting his knob out on a Doctor Who set?
Yeah, I think him and the other guy, him and Noel Clarke both got it at the same time, but only one of them appears to have been cancelled.
Like a lightsaber duel.
The rules are subtle as to why one person is cancelled and the other one isn't. But who knows?
There we go. John Barrowman must do better. You twat. Just get yourself a nice horror movie podcast where you can slate the film as much as you want on the podcast.
Speaking of which, are we doing Old next week?
Yeah, we're going to do Old either next week or the week after, depending on how fast I can pull my finger out and get to a cinema.
Yeah,
I will say I'm not going to slate it off. I'm not going to say it's shite.
I mean, how many films on this podcast have we out and out said are shite?
Unnameable. I don't think we said that. I don't think we said it's shite.
Unnameable, Alone in the Dark. Do you know what I mean? I think like even some genuine naff movies, we probably, but then again, us sitting here and discussing the movie for 2 hours, even if we think it's shite, is a lot better than literally putting a 30-second video on Twitter just saying shite over and over again. He didn't give us any reasons. He goes,
I understand the metaphor, but I wasted 2 hours of my life.
Yeah.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. It's not good form.
I remember
in any way.
somebody I knew saw Hereditary and they said, "Oh, it's awful." And I was like, "Oh, why didn't you like it?" "Oh, it's just awful, isn't it?" I was like, "Yeah, but why did you not like it?" Like, I thought it was good. I thought it was great. Like one of my favorites of the year. "Oh, really? Nah, it was terrible."
Yeah.
Well, then why are you not giving me anything?
Yeah.
No reason.
Yeah, like no reason other than just like I think it's bad. Like if they said, "Oh, bit gory for me," or "I only like films about Christmas," like fine.
Yeah.
I bet there are people like that.
Why did you turn up and watch this? I only like Hallmark movies about Christmas where the poster is just a lovely white heterosexual couple in red and green in front of a
Yeah.
Christmas tree. That's all I like, all right?
And then if like maybe a mayor or some other authority figure learns a lesson about the true meaning of Christmas, that's what I'm in for.
Usually someone who's working too hard and then neglecting their family, but then something happens.
Yeah.
It always happens. A bit like Maniac Cop. No, nothing like Maniac Cop, but
well, someone is neglecting their family in that.
It's true.
Yeah.
But he doesn't learn about Christmas as a result. In fact, in many ways, he suffers no long-term consequences.
Maybe he learns about Christmas in the sequel.
Yeah.
Other horror news, apart from John Barra news, is I don't know if you guys saw the poster and the name of the new Jordan Peele movie has been released.
No.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good name for a horror movie. Initially, I was like, "Oh,
I can't remember what it is. What is it?"
It's called Nope. So obviously,
Okay.
Nope is obviously quite something you would say a lot of times if a horror movie was putting the willies up you, metaphorically. So yeah, it's called Nope. I don't think there's any plot details, but it's starring Daniel Kaluuya, Kiki Palmer, Stephen Yeun. So, and I think
Poster's
that's it.
interesting. Doesn't really tell you much.
There's like a cloud with what looks like a sort of kite tail. Is that what you call it?
Yeah.
And there's like a sort of town in a valley. And it's just big text. Nope. So there we go. So that's 2022, July 2022. So still a year to go, but movie number 3.
I'll turn up for that. First two are very good.
Same. Yeah.
Turn up. What else we got? Oh, we got some Exorcist movie news this week. So apparently Universal and Peacock. So I think Peacock is an American network, isn't it? Something like that.
Peacock, NBC.
I think it's a clothing shop in.
Oh yeah, it's a clothing shop. So basically, they do lovely summer dresses,
school uniforms and stuff, don't they?
School uniforms, fairly cheap shoes. But now they're doing The Exorcist, which is crazy. We're gonna believe it.
Diversified their portfolio.
So apparently they've spent $400 million in a mega deal to purchase a new Exorcist trilogy. And then, so Leslie Odom Jr., who's in Hamilton and Knives Out 2, is apparently going to be the star of it. But also, it's also going to be directed by David Gordon Green, obviously, who did the Halloween 2018 movie. But also Ellen Burstyn as well will be reprising her role as Chris McNeil.
Interesting.
Very interesting. So a whole flaming trilogy of Exorcists. That's quite exciting. But the first film is going to be released theatrically in October 2023. So a little while yet. But it looks like Universal and Peacock are sort of bankrolling quite a few of these productions because apparently The Munsters, Rob Zombie's The Munsters is also going to be from them.
Getting quite a lot of traction in Munsters chat. Rob Zombie's on his way to us having us cover it, I guess. We've mentioned it. It's been in the news a couple of weeks on the row.
Have we done any Rob Zombie movies? I don't think we have.
No, I think I chatted about, because I think I watched his movies.
You did 3 from Hell that spoke about it a little bit in what I watched, right?
Yeah, but I don't think we've covered it exclusively on the podcast.
If we were going to do one, what would you do?
Maybe House of 1,000 Corpses. I feel like that's like the main.
I think that's probably
or Lords of Salem, which I've not seen, which apparently is pretty good.
Yeah, I've not seen Lords of Salem either. Now you say it. Now you Salem it.
Yeah.
Yes. And the only other bit of horror news I've got, which is that the Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer arrived today. We've seen the trailer already, but this was like a bit more because obviously it's been delayed for pretty much over a year.
Got to get the hype back up.
Got to get a hype back up. So a few more little bits. And I'm quite I think I preferred this trailer because again, it doesn't show too much in terms of in terms of story and sort of massive reveals, but it just got a little sprinkling of interesting little ghosts and other bits and that. And I like where it seems to be going, where it's going to sit in the Ghostbusters mythology. Yeah.
Yeah, I've got to say, I watched it, and I think it looks fantastic. Like, I think it genuinely looks like an interesting new take, but still in kind of keeping in with the spirit of the first two. Yeah, I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, definitely. I'm looking forward to it.
Say no more. Maybe we'll cover that then. It'd be interesting for us to cover a sort of family horror movie.
Yeah. See if all these years on, busting still makes us all feel good.
I'm sure it will. There's like a little ghost trap on wheels. Did you see that?
Yeah, like a remote control car.
Little remote control ghost trap. I mean, I fairly recently played the game for the first time as well, like the Ghostbusters.
It's good, isn't it?
Yeah,
the remaster
really
of it.
The remaster version. So it's got all the original voice cast as well. Because when did it come out? Like 10 years ago now.
Like PS3, Xbox 360, wasn't it? As well.
And now we mentioned games. I literally just remembered that the Dead Space remake has been confirmed as well.
Yeah,
officially confirmed. So I think maybe we discussed it not so long ago because EA were going to say, "Oh, we've got a potential horror game coming out." But yeah, it's definitely Dead Space. It's still from EA, and I think that is it Motive, who are like an arm of EA, are going to be making it.
Total rebuild as well, right? So it's not a remaster reskin; it's a total rebuild, full remake. Yeah.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing? Because that could go either way, right?
Yeah, I guess if it's good, it could be really new and exciting. But then you'll never please everyone.
I think it's a good thing. Somebody said to me, "Oh, terrible idea. Dead Space was already good. They should remake Dead Space 3 because that had problems." But I'm like, yeah, but if you keep a lot of the gameplay the same, like case in point, I said the Resident Evil remake, which was on the GameCube, Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, and Tomb Raider Anniversary. Essentially, same sort of gameplay, but they're all really successful remakes.
Yeah.
I didn't think the Twin Snakes one was that well received, was it?
I liked
all new cinematics.
Yeah, I liked playing Twin Snakes. It was good, and it was good to have basically Metal Gear Solid 2 mechanics to play through. Yeah. But I understand that for a lot of people who really liked the old one, it was a bit anime.
Yeah.
A bit
what
anime.
Was that noise?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it was Karen dropping to the system that it was too anime or not. Let me just make sure that no one's fallen down the stairs. I'll be right back.
What was going on was, I mean, I don't want to make too many jokes just in case someone is hurt, but it sounded like someone was playing a big game of Jenga in the background.
Yeah, with moving boxes. Just take the middle one here.
with moving boxes, take the middle one.
Of glassware.
There we go.
Yeah.
Of all your favorite finest china that you only get out for when you have guests. Here he's back.
Here he is back.
He's all right.
Someone's dead.
No.
It's all right. It's all right. It was just a recycling related crash.
Okay.
Yeah. Recycling's bloody noisy. When the big trucks get in the recycling in the morning, I shit my pants almost every morning.
They don't take glass. So it's all the soft bits, like plastic and cardboard. It sounds like someone throwing away a load of flumps.
Yeah. just
keep it down out there. Keep it down out there with you. Can't hear anything over them flumps.
It actually cancels out the noise from outside. It's quieter. It's ominously quiet. Binman must be here.
Wow.
Then you never know when you've not put the bins out. You don't hear anything.
See, we get the crash from the bag, so Ben and I can hop up and go, the bins!
The bloody bins!
What's his name? From The Conjuring.
Yeah. Nice throwback to a few episodes ago. Well, I feel like our bin van is just like, it makes too much of a big deal about it. Just they arrive and they're like beeping the van and just like reversing and like it's got the voice coming out going, careful, we're reversing, smashing stuff around.
Don't live I don't get all that bus. Sounds like the Venga bus collects your bloody recycling every week.
Bloody Venga bus out there.
Just hear it.
You sound like it'd be amazing.
The bins.
It's all the Venga boys
like
there as well.
A cowboy and a sailor just and thingy. Like I know there were also two women in the Venga boys, but it didn't have discernible jobs from their
It's
outfits.
probably still them because I don't think they got much on, unfortunately, these days.
Yeah.
Depends how the contract went. If they get in residuals,
well then bins have got to pick up. Keep them busy.
Boom. Yeah, but that's it for horror news. Anybody seen anything nice?
Well, sort of old, but we're talking about that next week.
Another story for another
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
I did a little bit of catching up. I caught up on not horror, but I caught up on Loki. That's right.
Yeah.
I think you might have said this last week, Luke, but I thought the music was very good, especially towards the end.
It's like the best music in a Marvel thing.
Yeah.
Ever. Yeah, it's maybe not quite as good as the Avengers theme music.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really cool.
The Avengers is the only modern superhero thing that has music that you can still hum.
Yeah.
Like none of the others.
Well, no, Batman vs Superman, I've got to say.
Isn't that just the Batman and Superman music though from the past?
Wait.
Is that like
the Wonder
crazy...
Woman theme as well, surely?
Oh yeah, but you can't sing it. You just know it goes. You just know the trumpety bit.
In the Zack Snyder, I can say Jack Snyder. In the Jack Snyder cut, which is a different cut. Everyone's got a cut. In the Zack Snyder one, he uses like the same music so often for Wonder Woman. It's like he's got it on a soundboard. He just presses one button and when it comes on.
Them trumpets obviously come up every time.
Back in the days of Danny Elfman, Batman, even like Spider-Man theme, but now I couldn't tell you what the Spider-Man music was from the new movies.
Spider-Man, isn't it?
It's just a Hero by Chad Kroger.
What was this? The best Superman music, best superhero music was a Spider-Man animated TV show one that Joe Perry did. Remember? Or maybe the X-Men TV show.
Oh, the X-Men. Yeah. Like they're listening. When X-Men comes back, they've got to surely use that music. It's the best.
Imagine like a orchestral version of that when the X-Men first turn up in the MCU. Oh Jesus! Yeah. I'd need new pants.
Or run into the middle and fight. Is the music.
I've still got one episode of Loki to go, but yeah, I'm really into it. I might go as far to say it's probably my favorite of the TV shows so far.
I think visually it's the most interesting. I really like the WandaVision idea though. I think that's like a really, really smart idea. And I really like the WandaVision idea, but I think I kind of like, I don't know, I lost interest after a certain while where I feel like Loki so far has kept me super engaged throughout. I just love the idea of these, I won't spoil anything, but you know, I think it opens up so much. I mean, I know WandaVision does too, but yeah, I like the ideas. And no spoilers for Ben, but Luke, do you like the man they meet?
Do I like the man?
The man that they meet at the end?
I think I've seen.
Yeah, it's fun. Yeah,
it seems like a fun man. I'm looking forward to seeing more of his adventures.
These TV shows, and they're good. In terms of TV shows altogether, they're very, very good. What I would say is, I find that like the first 3 episodes always introduce amazingly interesting, cool ideas that are quite
juicy,
exciting and juicy, and then they always kind of fizzle a bit, and you think it wasn't all that exciting actually.
Let's not
disappointing Christmas presents.
No spoilers, but Richard E. Grant was superb.
Yeah,
I thought
he had some good.
Really good moments as well. I think
there's good moments in all of them, in different bits.
But yeah.
Yeah.
So I did that, and then I've watched a little bit, like a little soupçon of Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. Not very much at all. Slither.
Yeah.
A little sliver.
Was it a good sliver?
Yeah, it's all right. It's a nice little taste. Not much has happened yet. Some people spoke in an office. I'll finish catching up on that a little bit later. I'm a little bit concerned simply because of the way it looks, I guess. It's given me kind of Resident Evil 6-y vibes. We'll find out after.
6-y?
Oh, yeah. Yes. Very 6-y.
It is a bit 6-y.
And I know you have, Luke, but I don't know about you, Andy. Master of the Universe Revelation? Has anybody dabbled?
No,
I've finished it.
I stress read the Wikipedia when I was doing some admin the other day.
Oh no, stress read it.
So do you know similar to John Barrowman, there's a bit of an uproar about He-Man at the minute. Do you know what that's all about?
Yeah, I read the uproar on the new He-Man. the incel community is at it again.
I think they've got a point to some degree though, because Kevin Smith adamantly said that wasn't the case for a year, and then he was lying, like 100% lying.
Is it from again? Okay, it's hard to go into it without any spoilers, and I've not actually watched it yet. As I say, I read it because I needed a brief escape from some horrible house move admin, and I had a quick read about what was going on. But it feels like it's building to something else. So maybe it feels like he's lying now, but it might not be lying at the end. I think sometimes you've got to kind of give people a chance to play out what they're doing.
This is being billed as part 1, isn't it?
Okay, well, that makes me think that something else will happen in the future. I haven't seen all of the
I've not read
the first 5 episodes.
No, I haven't seen all of it, and I haven't read any of the discourse really. I mean, I can kind of understand what some of it might be, considering a lack of something, a lack of a certain.
It's an interesting choice to take. I mean, what did they expect was going to happen? It's the main.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to talk about.
Yeah, but I mean, let's just say, I mean, great voice cast. Got Sarah Michelle Gellar, Mark Hamill, obviously, and even Kevin Conroy at one point, where we've got Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill, Batman and Joker, in a scene together, and Tony Todd.
Yeah. Oh yeah. What I will say is that I was watching and I was just thinking, you know what? I think this is aimed at like 8-year-olds. It's very much aimed at kids, and I mean it's supposed to be, I guess, but
it's the same animation studio as Invincible, right? Because it looks the same.
Okay, I don't know.
I kind of love that animation style. So.
It looks very nice, but like I don't know, like the fight scenes, it's very tame to some extent. Although I do think people do die in it. I mean, obviously they do, but it seems completely fine. I mean, I would just say, I think you're probably right, Andy. I was thinking Kevin Smith is kind of just, he said something wasn't true, and then it obviously was. But if it is a part 1 of 2 sort of situation, then...
And even within that, even from, reading the 3-sentence synopsis of each of the episodes and not watching any yet, like it feels like there are things that pay off and there are still things that are going to be building. And I think there's a very different job to, if you're presenting what was a children's show from when we were kids, which, let's be very brutally honest, were a lot more overtly toy adverts than TV shows are now. Effectively, we watched an episode where, we watched TV shows, this, Visionaries, Transformers, all of them have, by and large, the interest of maintaining a status quo, occasionally introducing a new series of baddies. Like, the story is almost secondary. Certainly a long-term arc or anything like that is secondary. Ideally, what you want is to have great action figures to bash against each other that then the kids can go off and get, and a Castle Grayskull playset and all of that other good stuff. So I think with programs like this, when they come back, one, adults probably need to be, you can still enjoy them, enjoy whatever you like, but remember that you're not, at very least, the sole audience for it anymore. And then otherwise, just give people a little bit of room. Like, imagine all those films, you watch this, we'll keep it superheroes. If you jump to the conclusion, like you're watching original Superman, what's this fella with the glasses? He ain't super at all. He's terrible. Clumsy oaf. Look at him. Can't even get through that revolving door. Like, I'm being facetious, but like any example when there's been a twist or something, imagine if you reacted at it.
There was a very specific example that was exactly this, but I can't remember what it was now, but there was something where something was portrayed in a potentially a bad way, but it was part of the story. It was supposed to happen that way, and people just weren't waiting for the twist or whatever it was. I can't remember what it was. And also, I mean, it does feel like there's real stakes to the story. Yeah. It feels like things are actually happening that feel weighty. But yeah, it's He-Man, Master of the Universe. What do you expect? What do you want? It's not gonna.
Not been so incensed by a film since I watched the usual Suspects, and that policeman was just bullying that poor man. He's quite infirm. He had some health problems. He was going on at him. Made me mad.
Got miraculously better at the end of that film. No, I always thought that was crazy.
Oh, I turned it off, mate. I was too angry. I don't think.
Yeah. You guys see anything?
else?
I did see something. I don't know if Andy watched it again as well. I can't remember. Classic Horror Story on Netflix.
I didn't. I was doing Saturday night. I think we had people around, but I am going to watch it. Have we got it on the slate to talk later this month? Next month?
I don't think it's on the slate at the moment, is it?
But not at the minute, no. Yeah.
If we're desperate to chat about it, I saw it. I saw it a couple of weeks ago or a week ago.
Yeah. And what was the title, Ben?
It's a classic horror story.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And the name?
Please don't.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess,
Italian or something.
I guess we maybe won't talk about it too much then, if we might be doing potentially an episode on it. I don't know if I'll have too much to say about it, to be honest. But it was okay. It was all right.
Yeah, that's why I kind of thought it was just okay. Don't know if it warrants a full episode. Don't know how hot the hot takes could be.
I guess maybe we've switched it out because now we're countering old JB and we're talking about old. Is that we've subbed it? That's what we've subbed in. Talking about old.
Yeah.
Talking from the crazy beach that turns you old. Bloody hell.
Yeah. Fun times abound.
I saw a movie on Netflix called Blood Red Sky, which I think I mentioned a couple of weeks ago.
Oh yeah, that's out now, right?
Yeah, it's out now. Concept obviously is, I mean, I would say because of spoilers, but it's kind of there in the poster. Vampires on a plane. It's a cool concept. There's some really great makeup effects and gore effects. It isn't really afraid to get silly. It's very silly. It's one of those films where if you're trying to, really pick this apart for what it is, just probably best not to, because it's silly. But yeah, I found the ending a bit of a letdown, but the vampire mythology it kind of explored was pretty interesting. So yeah, recommend it. It's a good little 2-hour watch. And I think that's mostly. Oh, I did see Black Widow. I went to the cinema to watch that, and yeah, I like that. That was fun. It was a bit confusing, where it fit in terms of the timeline of the MCU films, but yeah, I really enjoyed it, and it just pretty much confirmed for me that Florence Pugh is just a bona fide movie star. Just everything she's in, everything she touches seems to just be gold, turn to gold. So, and David Harbour's great in it as well. Yeah,
it's
one of those films though. The only thing I would say, a bit frustrating because it feels like we waited so long for Scarlett Johansson to get a Black Widow as a title movie, but it just felt like it wasn't quite her story, at any point. So yeah,
was it Taskmaster's story?
I don't know. It was everybody's story. Do you know what I mean? There were so many things going on. It was a bit like, right, well, get back to Black Widow now. What's she thinking about? Come on, so that's it. That's
all. All right.
And then Maniac Cop.
What? Yeah, I watched it. Maniac Cop. He's a bloody maniac, isn't he? Can't believe how much of a maniac he is. So, Maniac Cop is a 1998 American action slasher film directed by William Lustig, written by Larry Cohen, starring Tom Atkins, Bruce Campbell, William Smith, Robert Zadar, Tom Atkins and Bruce Campbell. Horror royalty. A killer dressed in a police uniform begins murdering innocent people on the streets of New York City.
Yeah. So IMDb has it at 6. Rotten Tomatoes critics have 50%. Audience have it at 40. Letterboxd is it just over middling 3-1. I got a couple of reviews here. Joshua really liked it. He said it's a near perfect piece of late 80s exploitation. An all-star ensemble including Lustig, Cohen, Glickenhaus, Chataway, Campbell, Atkins, Landon, Roundtree, Czar, and motherfucking William Smith. I don't know Will Smith was in this.
Will Smith.
Yeah. You can't go wrong with a Bill Lustig joint. Also, the tough cut banter between Atkins and Smith in the bar scene is pure gold. So he was well into it. And then P80 Miller said, this movie fucking sucks. Bruce Campbell's character was the most unlikable shit. A cheater and a cop. This movie is literally shitty cops fighting incompetent cops while running away from after mutant fucky cop. Too many cops. Half a star. So in terms of all the names that Joshua reeled off, I think there is a lot of there's a lot of actors in this I know kind of vaguely from other films around this time. I mean, Atkins and Campbell are big ones. Larry Cohen, I've dug a bit into his filmography, Lustig as well. But I feel like this film might play better to people who are very much entrenched in that kind of 80s exploitation scene. But yeah, what did you guys think about it? Have you seen it before?
I've never seen it before. Andy, you said you'd seen it before, hadn't you?
Many years ago now. So it was probably the point where, apart from the overall aesthetic, I couldn't have told you anything about it going into it this time.
Yeah.
There's a cop in it who's a bloody maniac. That's all you need to know.
Pretty much, yeah. I've seen it before. It's a slasher with an interesting bent cop, you could say.
A bent cop. Bent coppers.
Yeah.
He's like a bent cop / superhuman Michael Myers dude, and obviously Robert Zadar, who I recognize from a few things. I think I've seen him in like kung fu movies or something.
Yeah.
So obviously he's got a very distinctive look. So I think he's got some
condition,
level of some condition. Where he's got like a really enlarged jawline. It almost looks like makeup, and obviously he is made up to a degree in this one, and more so in the second and third movie. But yeah, even though I think this film takes a lot of care as to not really show him for a long time. We get like brief looks at him, but I don't think there's obviously a moment pretty much in the final scene where we see his face like properly. The rest of the time he's constantly shrouded in darkness, and we kind of just see this cop, and it's supposed to sort of make you feel unnerved about the police, just as
just like the uniform. And I don't know, is this a thing in the 80s, or is he dressed up in a very, very especially smart police uniform? Or has everyone got the gloves and everything?
White cloth gloves.
Yeah, like a snooker umpire.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some policemen who sort of go on a big parade later on as well, which I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have had permission to shoot all that, would they? They would have to pay tons. It's like a real parade.
It must have been a real parade, I think. Yeah,
I reckon they might have bought some stock footage though. It had a very Encarta feel to it.
He was dressed like Heath Ledger when he dresses as a police officer in The Dark Knight to try and take down the mayor.
Yeah.
With the white gloves and the sort of a very
And he has a scarred up face as well, as Chris Nolan out himself as a big Maniac Cop fan.
Yeah, he has. I reckon we're onto something there. But considering the first time I'd seen it, I did quite enjoy this. I like the sleazy New York aesthetic that it had going on. And I think everyone's kind of great in it. Great to see Bruce Campbell in a movie, I guess, kind of playing the just normal dude, not a...
Yeah.
I guess even at this point, though, this for me is one of the highlights of the movie. Like, Bruce Campbell as a slapstick actor, what Hollywood gained, the circus lost. Like, he is incredible. Like, you know, in some of the fight scenes when, like, he's fallen on the floor and Maniac Cop picks him up and his, like, head lags a second behind his body. He's being picked up. He's like... and the way he can flip himself over, looking like he's like the same as he did in Evil Dead. It looks like he's using his own hand to make himself somersault over and land on his back. Like,
yeah,
in many ways, I mean, he is great. I could watch him all day, but it does make some of the other like stunt work and people being thrashed about, like poor old Tom Atkins when he's being thrown into all those filing cabinets. It's not such a rubbery clown as Bruce Campbell, so he's just like an old man being smashed into a filing cabinet.
Yeah,
a rubbery clown. That's how he would have wanted to be known.
It is. I do feel like so this negative review here does say Bruce Campbell's character is the most unlikable shit. it's weird. He's like the main character, I guess, in a way. But he isn't introduced. He doesn't appear in the film until 20 minutes in, and he does seem to be portrayed as a bad person. I don't think he ever really redeems himself to that much extent, does he?
This film really struggles with like who the main character is, because obviously Tom Atkins starts off, and obviously we're going to go into big spoilers, but Tom Atkins isn't there for like the final third of the movie.
Yeah,
Bruce Campbell's introduced like halfway through. Then we're like focused on Theresa Mallory, Laurene Landon for like a little while, where it feels like maybe it's shifted and she's kind of like the main character. So yeah, it really doesn't quite understand who we're supposed to be focusing on, whose story this is.
The Maniac Cop.
The bloody Maniac Cop. He's a bloody maniac with his snooker gloves.
Yeah. So how does it start? I think you just start pretty much with a kill right from the get-go.
So we kick off with a girl is leaving a bar and she's walking on home. Who should jump out at her but some classic 1980s muggers snatching a purse like they would often do.
Yeah.
But in also true 80s fashion, when a woman shows herself in an 80s movie to be not just a pushover and a victim of crime, she beats them up with a handbag, like hammers them with it.
The handbag seems really light as well. Like, so they might have like loaded it with a breeze block or something to make it look like it had some weight to it. It's like all she's got in there is a pamphlet and a pamphlet and a pair of, I don't know, silk gloves or something.
Tube of mints.
Not even a tube of mints. That's too heavy for this handbag. But yeah, she pushes one guy up against the car, and then I think she takes I was going to say a cheap shot, but they were mugging her. She takes a shot at one of them when they're on the ground. And then there a dude just put his rubbish out, just like shaking his head, like, bloody hell.
Those kids.
This town.
Yeah. He sort of looks a bit concerned and then goes back in. And then the muggers chase after her. But she sees a policeman hanging out in a shady spot of the park, and she walks over to him. It's a bit like that Alan Partridge bit with Dan. She's like, officer.
Yeah.
Officer. And chase after him. And then she goes up to him, has a moment of recognition. We don't see the face, as you guys are saying. Like, his face it's a great concern. We don't see his face. It's taken a load of time to hide it. It's in the shadows. She looks at him and goes, oh, thank goodness it's you. But not thank goodness it's him, because bloody chokeslams her.
Yeah, he has got kind of Kane Undertaker vibe to him, actually.
Yeah.
He also has like a kind of monstrous quality, not the fact he's got a huge chin, but like throughout the film, I'm not too sure if he's supposed to be supernatural or not.
Well, I guess he is, because like you can't just pick someone up by the throat and throttle them to death, really, can you? Unless you're superhuman.
I got to the end of the film and I've changed my mind whether he's a ghost several times.
Yeah, that's a good point. Because I think it does try and sort of establish that this person's definitely dead for a while. A lot of the characters sort of suggest it, and then it's kind of revealed that he's not dead, not quite dead. But you're like, what? So he just got beaten to within an inch of his life and then just woke up superhuman? Is that what we're supposed to believe?
We hear later on that he has some form of brain damage, which is why that doctor wasn't lying when he filled in the death certificate, because from a certain point of view where I'm not corrupt, then actually it's kind of true. From my perspective, the Jedi are evil.
He's basically completely dead. If you put him behind the wheel of a car, couldn't drive it. Basically dead. Right dead. No, he's breathing. Right dead.
So but it kind of changes. I'm not sure. Again, said this to you guys before, and I'll say it again now for people for this is their first episode. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if there's a form of brain damage that can make a person bulletproof. But the truth is out there. Do your own research.
We do see him with his top off later, and he looks like a man who likes to tan. So I wonder whether he's just a bit thick and leathery. He's got a bit of a thick and leathery skin. That's why he's bulletproof.
Yeah, it could be.
Too much time in the sun.
Yeah.
So like he breaks this young woman's neck, and then the next it's
the
pretty much
muggers are kind of looking. They're like, oh bloody hell.
bloody hell, that's too. Oh, I didn't sign up for this. See you later. But I don't know if I find this a bit strange. Is that Tom Atkins' character, Lieutenant McRae, turns up at the murder scene, and pretty much he's immediately but just goes, "Oh, it's definitely a police officer. It's definitely someone within our ranks."
Yeah,
even though people are saying it could be a maniac just dressing up as a police officer, but for some reason
he listened to her last breath. Police officer.
Oh, he's a police officer.
Yeah.
But then even
Maniac
if he did
Cop.
do that, to make that immediate, unless it doesn't ever suggest that he already had some sort of inkling that there was a maniac cop in the ranks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's his first suggestion is like he basically, maybe there's a little bit of evidence to it, to be fair. They know that they go and see the medical examiner and says that basically her neck has been shaken and it's broken and she was choked. She's got bloody head like a jibber jabber by the time that she's finished, like strung out like a really long neck. So I think he kind of comes to the conclusion that the two muggers that they've arrested, they don't have that kind of power. So he thinks, it's got to be a big old chap. But I don't know where the police thing comes from until later.
Well,
they don't believe it's the
kill.
They don't believe it's the muggers. They go, muggers, give me your hand there. Right, try to arm wrestle me. Nah, you
see that baby? They have baby hands.
They had little baby's hands.
Your hands can't even fit around my neck.
Yeah. So the next person he kills, it's the guy in a car or something. The woman he gets away says he had a police uniform.
That's how we know. Yeah, because that second kill, what did you make of that scene? Because
he's not that brain dead, because he's like, get out of the car.
Maybe he's just trying to suggest that he was a police officer and a successful police officer, a bit trigger happy,
reenacting.
But maybe it's just sort of almost like muscle memory of him doing that.
You've got a tail like tail, not tail like throat, and he's
because he does, doesn't he? So he's got if he's got his police uniform, are we led to believe that all policemen have got a secret knife in their truncheons?
I think that's an interesting. That's almost too advanced a weapon for that kind of slasher to have. And normally it's like a slasher will just find something lying around, an axe or a machete, and they go, this is good, and it was right here, so I'm just going to use this. But he's like, did he make that? Or where did he get that cane knife thing from?
We are introduced to someone who's helping him at some point, aren't we? So it doesn't ever suggest how far she went to help him, but whether she went and got him a custom weapon made.
I've got your truncheon hollowed out, and I've put a little hidden blade in there for you.
He's like the Q to James Bond.
Thank you so much. It's what I've always wanted.
She also gave him a little pen that shoots laser beams. He just clicks it just right. There's some toothpaste that explodes.
Yeah. When he was doing his recuperation, when he was made into Maniac Cop, he was sitting there and said, I've got all the cop accessories down. I've got my hat. I've got my white gloves. I can do a strangle. I can do a clubbing and do a handcuff murder. But if I'm ever going to make it as a true slasher, I need a slashing weapon. She went,
yeah.
I know.
She goes, and it's Christmas coming up, so I know I've already bought you a Lynx Africa set, but I'll get you a knife truncheon as well. And he's gone, thank you. I smell good and I can do a murder.
Loves a knife truncheon.
So he kills. I think the first 20 minutes of him basically just killing different people or attacking people. There's the couple in the car, and the girl of that one gets away. There's another guy he handcuffs, and the guy just runs away.
Oh yeah, like a musician dude.
He gets him in the cement. So he's getting in his car. He whaps a set of handcuffs on him. He runs away, going, "No, it's my bloody car! Someone help me!" Presses loads of doorbells with his nose, like ringing all the doorbells on the apartment building.
Get out of it!
Yeah, classic. It's like classic Last Action Hero New York, where a desperate plea for help is going out, and everyone's going, "Shut up down there, will you?" And then he gets pushed into the wet cement, and then the construction workers are just there casually chiseling him out in the morning.
It feels like they're just getting on with their job. because they're like nowhere near the head. They're like, they're not trying to get him out. They had a job to do the next day.
Just work around
so
the
furious.
head.
I've got to do this again now. That cement that I for some reason laid and left wet quite late in the evening.
No signs or cones or anything. No wet floor.
They were asking for it.
Oh, there must be a union job. They're at 5 o'clock, no overtime. We're down tools.
Yeah.
So after those 3 murders, we soon find out that the superiors of the police are trying to cover up the fact that the guy's wearing a police uniform to try and, I guess, we're meant to think it's to suppress panic, but obviously they're looking after themselves, really, aren't they? The old cheeky police officers. Tom Atkins is not happy about it. He's like, get everyone in. I want to interview anyone who's ever had a bad day. I want to interview them and find out what makes them tick.
And the chief of exposition, the one that goes through it, goes, and so you like the shaming him for mental health problems. It was like, oh, I'm not saying you smile in a while, Frank. Didn't you try and kill yourself once? And he was like, no, I didn't. And he was like, all right.
He smiles in his most awkward, like, Terminator 2 way.
There's an odd Terminator 2 smile. I was a bit confused by that.
Gives him a thumbs up.
But the police chief goes, nah, it's not a maniac cop. Perish the thought.
Yeah.
And then there's a horrible moment where it was like, where obviously Tom Atkins leaks it to a journalist he knows and says, stick it on your late night show or something. Just tell everyone that there's a maniac cop on the loose and to be wary. And then immediately we see the sort of effects of this, where a woman who for some reason can't start her car shoots a police officer point blank in the head. And it says, I thought it was Maniac Cop.
Yeah, it's not Maniac Cop, though, is it? It's the opposite. It's Saniac Cop.
Saniac Cop. He only had 1 week left before he was going to retire. So he's about 28, probably not. So
Saniac Cop gets shot because of the stirred up news from the press, because Detective Frank tells his... You get a great, like, before that, they have that great scene where, like, it's like cop meeting reporter in the bar, and it's like, oh, do you, I haven't seen you for a while, because I see you every night on the news before I go to bed. It's like, oh, how romantic. It's like, this ain't about romance. It's about murder.
Oh, sorry, I got a bit confused by the vibes. Also, sorry, going back to that woman who murdered the police officer, shoot him in the head. It was like the middle of the day as well. Are you all right? Yeah. Are you all right? How can you be that distressed, thinking someone's going to do a murder on you, like at 2:30 in the afternoon? Well, is New York
1988, isn't it? Like 1988 New York. It's a hard time.
It's all kicking off.
Yeah.
And then we're almost immediately introducing new characters. So we've got Bruce Campbell as a police officer named Jack, and his wife Ellen Forrest, who pretty much suspects him from the get-go that he might be the maniac cop.
Well, yeah, like maybe she's been getting more of those phone calls, but like we're introduced to Ellen with her literally getting a little scrapbook page to make an orgy of evidence that he might be the maniac cop. She's literally cutting out the front page of the newspaper that says maniac cop kills 4th person. And so, put that in my little scrapbook.
Can I just ask you, Jack, are you the maniac cop? The what? Just pretty much outs him.
She's like, there's obviously some things going on there. It's like there's some erratic times going on. She's like, oh, I don't want you to go out to work. I don't like it. And he's like, oh yeah, but you haven't been coming to therapy. And it's like, you have nightmares. You shout all the time. I worry you might hurt me. He's like, have I ever hurt you? And she says, no, you wouldn't. Stay in. Don't touch me. But do stay.
Don't get away from me.
But I do worry that you're the maniac cop, and you can see why, because as soon as he goes out for his shift at work, which I hasten to add, he points out is because there's a flu going around, not because there's a maniac cop. It's like, oh, they've got loads of overtime going because there's
a maniac flu on the
maniac flu on the rampage. So I gotta stay in and deal with. That.
Right. Also, obviously he leaves. She follows him.
Well, immediately she follows him. Gets a phone call going. Your husband, mate, maniac cop.
Who calls her?
I reckon it's Q. Like
It's cute, isn't it? Yes, it's Sally Noland.
Why? What? So she's trying to.
They're framing him up. I think she's trying to
yeah. make
it so Maniac Cop can get away with it.
Framiac Cop.
Framiac Cop, that's her name.
But
She's
also,
Framiac
right,
Cop.
if you're having an affair with somebody you work with, and you're booking a motel to go and meet this woman and have it off of her while your wife stays at home, would you choose the motel that's literally a 2-minute walk around the corner?
I mean, maybe who knows? It might not be a 2-minute walk, but it does look very small. She just has to look out the window and see him going into that door.
See him going into the motel going.
You can tell she's doing some detective work as well because she puts on like a detective jacket.
Oh, it's a great Detective Mac, a classic Dick Tracy number. And she's even got a little stubby little pistol as well that she carries.
Little snub nose revolver.
Yeah.
Ready to, so she goes out, and as you point out, she gets in there. Not one, but 2 police hats. So straight away, there's
he wore 2. She didn't realize that he went out with 2 on.
Yeah, there's 3 possibilities. 1, her husband is actually Timmy Mallet, and that's like that Twin Peak thing he used to do. 2, he is the guy from The Prestige and is cloning his hats.
David Bowie.
3, he's having an affair with another police person. And, perhaps the least interesting of those options, he's having an affair. So he is bad. He's doing a bad thing.
What I would have liked is
not Maniac Cop.
If it cut to the police affair, and they still had hats on. So there's 4 hats going on. 4 hats in the motel. That would have really, really thrown me off.
What do you take to a reaction here?
This is what I like about this, right? This happens a lot in movies when like someone's followed and then they find out they're having an affair. So he walks into the motel, she walks into the motel room, 90 seconds later, she goes and quickly books a room, goes in. They're already naked and getting down to it. Do you know what I mean? They've literally just walked in and gone, right, that's it. I'm paying by the minute. If
you're having an affair, surely you're interested in knowing what the day was like. Oh, how's it going?
That's a good point, actually. It depends. See, it seems like they've got a bit of a deeper relationship going on, but no, it turns out they just want to bump uglies immediately.
Maybe he really does. Maybe they've had to rush because it's not an entire line. He really does have a night shift.
Yeah, he does. Just started.
Yeah, he's just left 20 minutes early.
20 minutes. You only give me 20 minutes. Well, come on. Yeah. So she can't. So Ellen catches them and like points the gun at both of them, I think, at some point, didn't she?
Yeah.
But then she just runs out.
There's like a splitter thing at the end of the pistol when it shoots that way.
Yeah. You want to shoot 2 evenly spaced people? Well, have we got the gun for you? So yeah, she runs out of the motel, runs down the street, but then she's snatched up by it looks like a snooker ref, could be the Maniac Cop. Pulls her in to a truck, and then the next morning we see like the maid going in. She picks up a lamp that got knocked over and says, "Oh, they had a party in here last night, didn't they? Oh yeah, knocking over the lamp. Wow!" And then she discovers Ellen's body.
Rockstar. Yeah.
And Ellen's had her throat slit, unfortunately. Bless her.
So the Maniac Cop is supposed to have done this.
Yeah.
As
all an effort to frame.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I imagine, obviously, we're introduced to Officer Sally Noland in a bit, but I imagine it's her idea. It seems like he's going around killing people willy-nilly, not really having any sort of MO, and he's just fucking people up, whoever. And it's almost like she's come and gone, right, we got to try and get the scent off of you Maniac Cop. And
so she becomes Framiac Cop and does some framing. And very quickly, Bruce Campbell's character, he gets a name of his own. He is Blamiac Cop, because that's what he's about to take.
Yeah, he gets blamed, doesn't he?
Blame. Yeah.
So he gets called out of like some sort of police meeting by the
assembly.
Is it the captain? He gets called out he gets called out of police assembly by the captain, who kind of breaks the news to him that his wife's dead in quite a sinister way. He's like, she had her throat slit from here to here.
Yeah.
Sorry for your loss, obviously.
I guess he's saying that because he kind of already believes that Jack did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he 100% believes it. Even if you, I mean, believe it, you'd be a bit more tactful the way you said that.
Yeah, because what if he just panics and tries to kill you?
Yeah.
Yeah, surely you want to find just as normal police work, you'd want to find a situation, maybe tell him in an interview room in case the reaction helps you prove it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not a great cop, that guy. No. Also, he's weird looking.
Yeah. But yeah, so straight away he appears to be utterly arrested for it. A lawyer turns up, and the lawyer also thinks that it's just tell him that you blacked out or you're very stressed. And it's like, no, I'm not.
No, but I didn't do it.
I'm not Maniac Cop.
I'm not. You got to take the Maniac Cop though if you want to be the WWE Maniac Cop.
But they've got all of the evidence because the scrapbook comes up. It's Chekhov's scrapbook. He goes, "Oh yeah, keeping a scrapbook, are you?"
You'd be fuming with your recently deceased wife for making a scrapbook of all of that. Yeah. God.
Yeah.
Did you notice the Sam Raimi cameo as well?
Oh no.
Yeah, he's like a news reporter.
Yeah.
At the parade. He's like saying, I don't know if he talks about the Maniac Cop. I think that's not stock footage. I'm pretty sure I read somewhere that they kind of just showed up and started filming.
Showed up. It feels like that, yeah. It did feel like that.
I guess it's a bold move, right? If you started filming like a police parade with all those people, everyone would just assume they're meant to be it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like something that like Larry Cohen and the people of that ilk would do as well. Just turn up and start filming stuff. But yeah, I think that's a bit later on anyway, right?
First, we have a little bit of sort of modern day news filtered into this 1980s film, where they get loads of those like talking heads from various people in the community saying how, they used to trust the police and now they don't. And, quite often, stories like, oh yeah, like if you see a cop, you give help and then you run the other way. So it's obviously doing a lot of damage to the police's reputation.
It's weird. I like as a social commentary as well. Obviously, it's still 30 years later, and it still feels like sort of relevant. There's a black guy at one point as well. Says like they used to. What does he say? Because somebody says there's another guy who says obviously there's a black dude who says about like the police sort of profile them and
shoot people in the back, shoot them even though they don't have any weapons on them.
And then there's another guy who says he's obviously a bit more pro police. He says, they used to just beat you with an inch of your life, but now they've got to shoot you to make you scared or something like that.
Because like people you said, people used to respect the police.
You got to shoot them to get respect.
If you didn't respect them, they used to give you a bloody bop on the noggin with them.
A bop on the noggin. Now it's a bullet in the back. Have it. Yeah.
Although Maniac Cop hasn't shot anyone, so misrepresented him.
Yeah.
Yeah, he hasn't. Or truncheoned anyone. Well, he kind of truncheoned.
No, it's special. It's a special truncheon though.
So yeah, we get Lieutenant McRae comes in and sort of basically says to Jack, "You've been framed."
It's 250 pounds.
Wait, what am I doing?
So at first, Bruce Campbell's Maniac Cop. Maniac Cop.
I said that honestly said that without even making the connection. You've been framed, but unfortunately, it's only going to get into the bit where it's like a song playing over it. There's not going to be any Harry Hill.
God,
no Harry Hill commentary. Gutted.
No. There's no commentary where he makes you out to be an obscure celebrity or politician, backbencher politician. He's gonna say that you look a bit like.
Enjoy it,
but Maniac Cop has been framed, and he doesn't want to mention the name of his partner. But when Frank comes to visit him, he quickly gets it out of him.
Look, I've got an alibi, right? And it could mean the difference between me going down for murder, not going down for murder. But it's a secret. it's a dirty little secret, and I can't tell you.
Yeah, like Frank could point out, like you don't want it to be known who you're having an affair with. Yeah, my wife had. Oh, she's been murdered by Maniac Cop. So he does tell him. Frank gets it out of him pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then we get to go and meet his partner working undercover.
Working on Vice, working undercover with her lovely crimped hair.
Yeah, crimped hair, having some bubble gum. Unfortunately, she doesn't bust this guy.
She's taking it too far in terms of, right, you've got to be a prostitute tonight. All right, I'm going to crimp the living hell out of my hair, and I got Hubba Bubba to last me all night.
Yeah, all right. She's going out. She's making the best of it, dressed up, as a big stereotype.
She's having fun with it.
Yeah, a little bit of fun. But she unfortunately falls into the classic trap, which is the weakness of all police undercover operations, where, of course, if someone asks you if you're a policeman, you got to tell them. You're not allowed to lie. Yeah. It's like the guy comes up and he's trying to make the trade, and he's like, "So, do you want me to give you a lift somewhere?" She's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." So do you want to do something else? He's like, "Gonna have to be more specific." She's like, Are you a policeman?" She's like, "Yeah." Yeah, go
got me. See you later.
I hear that in films all the time. Are you a cop? Because you got to tell me if you are. It's the law. Is that a thing?
It's not. Isn't a thing, is it?
Don't know.
I don't know.
I've never asked someone if they're a policeman.
I'm going to say to everyone from now on, if you are, you've got to tell me.
Is it because it's supposed to be like entrapment or something, right?
Yeah, probably.
I guess that makes sense.
But then if you're doing a crime, no matter what, like, you're doing a crime, aren't you? I saw you do murder.
What if you're about to do a crime, though? Like, you've got the gun pointed at someone.
Okay.
You just ask everyone around, "Are you a policeman? You're a policeman. Like, yeah. You work for the police? You. And if everyone said, if one of them did...
I work for the police, but I just do admin. Bang! Fucking
and it's like, well, if you only do admin, do you have to say that you're in the police?
Yeah.
Like, where does that?
I do just do admin now.
Where does that law stop? But yeah, that guy goes away. But then, who does she see in the background? But a shadowy figure. She approaches, and it's Maniac Cop. And this is where we get like a supernatural feel, because he gives her a bit of a strangle, but she gets away. She has a stronger neck than the first victim.
Yeah. She does
that police training. Her neck is slightly more powerful.
Yeah. And then she starts shooting him, and then McRae is there as well.
He starts shooting him, I think.
He's like Colin McRae, the way he skids down that alleyway in his car.
Turn left. Fucking hell! Bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
They both shoot him, and then
in the head apparently as well.
Yeah, she goes, "Oh, I got him in the head like at least twice."
You wouldn't be able to tell, would you? Really, with his face when you see it.
I didn't realize that she got him. I don't think it was clear that she got him in the head. It just looked like
I didn't see it
because I think I even said, "Why are they just shooting constantly in the chest?"
And I got him in the head.
Yeah, and I got him in the head right between the eyes. And I got him in the head right between the.
Yeah, I never considered that. I first thought, okay, she's a ghost, or maybe she's lying.
She's lying. Yeah.
Shot him in the head a couple of times.
Her crimped hair would have got in the way. It would have fallen down over her eyes. She wouldn't have seen it. She wouldn't have been able to get a headshot. Yeah. So what happens next? So obviously
he takes her to a diner. They have that conversation. He goes, "Right, you can hang out at my house."
Just realized the Maniac Cop pretty much just vanishes.
Yeah.
Why would they take it?
First,
why would they take their eyes off of him when they were shooting him? They wouldn't.
You get him in the head. You think he's dead. You don't need to look at. You get someone in the head with a headshot. You don't have to worry about him.
He just runs away.
Giggles as he runs.
Well, if
every time we hear him speak.
If he's invincible to bullets, why did he stop? Why does he have to do any hiding at all? He could just walk in. He's like the Terminator.
Terminator style. Yeah.
He likes the game, doesn't he? He likes the game.
Yeah. I mean, he has, got severe we don't know. I mean, technically, some doctors would tell you he doesn't even class as alive. Who are we to, question his motives?
Yeah. Exactly.
So
So McRae and Mallory have a discussion, and he basically says, "Go and hide out in my apartment. I'll ring." What does he say? He says something really complicated, like, "I'll ring twice.
I'll ring
then I'll
twice.
ring back."
Yeah, I'll ring twice, and then I'll stop ringing, and then I'll ring again. Only answer it if I've done that.
On the fourth
I'll
ring.
ring twice, then I'll stop ringing, then I'll ring 3 times, then I'll stop ringing, then I'll ring 5 times. Right? You got this? You writing this down? Shit.
Yeah.
At some point, McRae says.
Answer.
At some point, McRae says, "Oh, she's got all the latest jokes." I can't remember who. I don't think he's talking about this girl, but he's talking about someone who goes, "Yeah, she's great. She's got all the latest jokes." That's a weird thing to say.
She's got like Joke Monthly coming through the post or something. She's got all the latest jokes. Sending up all of those. 1988.
Yeah,
great times. Good times.
Yeah, so he sends her there. He sends that really complicated way that he's going to know. Because, Maniac Cop, if he knows where you're assigned, he knows where you are going to live. So hide at my house. We won't know where I live. And just be really, really cautious. And then we'll go and get Maniac Cop out of prison.
And when I get to the door, I'll do 2 knocks, and then I'll stop, and I'll do 5 knocks, and then I'll do the call of a blue tit. Not a great tit. Okay, don't get confused.
Don't, if you could just pay attention to this plan here. Can you imagine if then she immediately forgets? He rings, she answers it after 1 ring, and that's this last bit of credit on his phone. No!
Fuck! He does want to test her, where he rings once, then he rings back, and she goes, "Hello." He goes, "Oh, I could be the Maniac Cop. You twat."
Get you down the phone.
Horrible snooker ref gloved hand comes out.
Strangled. But yeah, she goes there, but I don't think anything really happens at his house. Like it's just a thing that happens. We don't even go and really see that much of it beyond there. Like that's his plan, and then he can go and this is when we find out who he is, because he goes to look at the records, right?
Yeah. So initially, Mallory and McRae work out that they both know somebody called Sally Noland. Oh no, I think she knows somebody called Sally Noland, the only person that Mallory told about her affair with Jack. So McRae's like, "I'm going to go and do a little bit of detective work." So he goes there, finds her. She's got like a leg brace, and she's also got like a crutch. Got like a cane as well. So he's automatically like, "Oh, interesting." So yeah,
she works in the records department, and he finds out about. Does he get much out of her, and then just decides to follow her anyway?
Yeah, I think he immediately realizes that. She's really the only lead, because she's the only person knew about the affair. So he immediately follows her, and she drives to like a pier. Yeah, she goes to a pier, and she goes to see it's Maniac Cop, but he doesn't get her. He goes, she goes to see him and says, "Oh, Matt," and this is where we find out his name. Doesn't look like a Matt.
Matt Cardle. I think he won X Factor, didn't he?
Yeah, he did win the X Factor. We were both talking about it earlier.
Matt Cardle. Then Jedward come out next to him. The other guys. Yeah, his name's Matt.
Yeah, Matt Cardle.
Name one other winner of the X Factor.
Simon Cowell.
Leona Lewis.
Alexandra Burke. She's pretty sure she won. But Matt Cardle, unfortunately, he had like 1 hit single, but then he became the Maniac Cop.
The Maniac Cop.
You never even worked as a cop, Matt Cardle. In the 80s,
yeah. Right. I know a follow-up single was what you actually planned.
I thought he had a great voice, by the way. I was going to say that. I thought Matt Cardle had a great voice.
Although,
don't just say that because you don't want him to murder you.
Yeah, and he had a great stabbing hand.
Hang on, though.
I always thought that.
So you do realise maybe it's all come full circle, because
he's got a knife in the microphone stand. Sorry.
If you win the X Factor, don't you get a recording contract with Simon Cowell, whose record label is called Psycho? Coincidence?
Is it? Oh, what, Psycho, like Simon Cowell?
Simon Cowell, yeah.
Simon Cowell Corporation.
That's all, yeah. That'd be like the Luco. Luke.
Yeah. Also, so the woman has got like she's like treating him like I don't know, it's kind of like a pet sort of thing. She's very fond of him.
She's very fond of him. She loves him. She gets a bit terrifying at one point.
Yeah, because Frank knocks over just a load of wood when he's hiding. He's watching him from afar, and he knocks over a load of wood. And she goes, "Anybody else that?" Fires the gun.
Starts firing a gun out there, and then she goes, "Oh, maybe I'm a little bit, maybe overreacted. 9 people dead."
Yes,
but then Matt's angry at her. Matt disappears or something.
He storms off. Frank goes and meets another security guard. He goes, "What are you doing?" He goes, "Oh, I just needed to piss, all right." And it's like,
oh yeah, that was a bit weird.
And it's like, you can't even go for a wee anywhere these days. 1988 New York.
That makes me think that like 1987 New York, people were just pissed everywhere and anywhere, and it wasn't a big deal.
And then 1 year later,
it all came crashing down. One Maniac Cop has ruined it all.
You see that thing in Ivano's Facebook viral videos in Germany somewhere? They put like this bouncy material spray or something over all where people urinate at night, so they pee on the wall and it would like bounce right back. You see that?
I don't think you'd notice if you're really drunk. You just be like, "What's going on here, then? What the fuck?" It sounds like flubber. Remember that flubber spray?
It was flubber spray. Yeah, it was. If you angle it right, it'd be good. You could bounce it right into. You could bounce it off of one wall to another wall, crazy golf style.
Like perpetual energy. Hang on, what happens when it rains on those materials? Does like just water just get shot into the sky?
I think so. Yeah.
Dangerous. Flubber.
Wow.
Only ever used for evil. Flubber.
Flubber seems like a dangerous material to exist in the world. They just. I mean, surely if you could kill someone quite easily with a bit of flubber.
What if that guy from the film's still bouncing in that one spot?
Yeah, it's just a skeleton now, bouncing up and down.
Hasn't been able to stop to get any food.
You got to feed him as he gets to the bottom. Grab this hamburger quick! Shitting in midair.
Can't keep anything down because you're bouncing around so much.
Imagine sleeping in that scenario as well.
Eventually, you would be tired enough. You just go limp and be like, rattling around.
I reckon you'd have a bit of a laugh after you get so used to it. You'd have a bit of a laugh. You'd like start landing pikes and somersaults, 560s. Yeah. So what happened?
One more thing. Does flubber bounce off water? I think if you landed in water, then it'd be all right?
So if they just they just
push a paddling, washed it off.
Push a paddling pool under him when he's bouncing upwards.
Yeah,
this is good.
We figured it out.
You've
Thank
done
goodness
it.
we've beaten you, Flubber.
Yeah.
Okay,
so wait, is Flubber an alien? It's not an alien.
No, it's a science.
It's a science. Yeah. Do you remember that what was that little floating robot thing with like a DVD, portable DVD?
I can't think about her. She gets murdered, doesn't she, by burglars?
Oh yeah,
murdered by burglars.
Yeah, she gets murdered by burglars, but then his wife.
Can we please cover Flubber on this podcast just to really
classic horror movie?
Sounds like a horror movie.
We really should do. Maybe we should get into the fact of doing we'll get into doing some bonus episodes of things that blatantly aren't horror movies. So we'll do a Christmas Hallmark movie.
Ted Levine's in it. Buffalo Bill. He's in Flubber. So that's a nice connection there.
Someone gets bowling balled in the face, I think. It is a horror movie.
It is a horror movie.
Right, join us next month, guys, for Flubber, classic horror movie.
I don't know
so what happens now is McRae
has had a complaint about needing a piss. And then he goes to the records room and finds all of Matt Cordell's best records. And
a man who's like well into him.
Yeah.
Luckily, there's a bloke who knows everything about him.
He's brilliant. I watched him in boot camp. I watched him at judges' houses. Did the lot.
And now is interesting Maniac Cop phase, which some people don't like so much. It's a bit like when Prince became just a symbol formerly known as Prince. Now we've got Matt Cardle as the Maniac Cop.
In the past. So yeah, he reads all the records, and it turns out that Matt Cordell was once the best policeman. Well, you say best. He did like brutally like get criminals.
It depends. Like, if you're proper pro police, then he's the best police officer. If you're like anti police, he's the worst police officer because he's just murdering people left, right, and center, left, and right.
Yeah, he's one of those things. Like, it sounds like a policeman that, like, on his like home non-police car, he'd have like one of those people who's co-opted the Punisher logo and things like that.
That guy.
Yeah. So yeah, it turns out that once he was a little bit of exposition. He was once like a brilliant cop, but he was a little bit too brutal, and someone he got done for it, and he got sent to prison. And the police chief and the mayor basically sold him up the river, and he was then sent to jail where he was killed. And then we get a scene straight out of Nightmare on Elm Street where it is literally like some jinky janky flashback music showing him getting got in the shower.
There's a really like long scene where it's like him being walked into the prison and like about 20 different people like noticing him and then reacting, but noticing him and
disapproving. Some of them like look and then go,
"You, it's the Maniac Cop who killed me, but you're in prison." No.
I quite like this scene when he's like defending himself in the shower.
He probably kills loads of those men right before they slash him up. He smashes loads of them up, throws them around, legs a lamb.
Yeah. So he's not superhuman as such. He's just absolutely nails. It would seem, even in the shower, even nude and slippery, he's got the moves.
Built like a shit brick house.
He's built
that guy.
Yep. He's built like a shit brick house.
Well, when it comes to people being naked and fighting, who you think has the harder situation there? Is it harder for you to fight when you're naked, or is it harder for someone to fight you when you are naked?
Wait, hang on a second. Who's hard?
Wait, are they naked as well?
I mean,
no, they're not naked. That would be
only tell one of them.
They get naked. Too far.
Yeah. Well, they're in the showers. It'd seem amiss if they went into the clothes. Who's murdered this Maniac Cop? Or not Maniac Cop yet? Who's murdered Matt Cardle?
In the shower. It's probably five guys completely drenched.
Did you kill him in the shower? No, we just been out in the rain. It's like 30 degrees outside.
Yeah. You're in prison. There's no outside.
Yeah. Andy, your question. So who would have it harder? The naked man defending himself.
Is it more difficult to fight other people when you are naked, or for other people to fight you when you're naked?
Have you seen Eastern Promises with Viggo Mortensen? There's a naked fight. There's a naked fight scene in that. It's a good question. I think if you're naked and everyone else is clothed, you're a bit exposed, aren't you? You're a bit like.
Well, I think you could grab stuff. You could pull. You know what they do, like in like hockey, where they pull the top over the heads and they tickle the belly.
A wedgie.
Nipple twister.
And people can't grab your clothes, and they might be a bit cautious of grabbing.
Just grabbing your knob.
Yeah, because they might not want to do that. Might be a bit weird about it.
Yeah, but I think if they've got boots on, they could use those as weapons. Take them off and throw them at you, or something.
But if you're all like, because he's soaked up, he could get out of people's grasp pretty easily. I think.
I think he should soak himself up even more and just skid through the legs out of there.
Yeah. Get a really good
ladder. Straight back into his cell.
Yeah.
See ya.
Slides all the way. Slides by the prison cells, just waves at everyone as he's going by.
And then slides through the prison bars.
And the prison door, the prison door for some reason, just the cell door slams shut behind him and locks itself just on its own.
Then he's safe.
And then he's back in bed before Christmas.
And you can fight as well, because if I imagine in prison, it's a hard life. No one's using no more tears like soap and shower gel. So if it gets in people's eyes when they're fighting, they'll be like, "Oh,
yeah."
They're using like single ply toilet paper and just like the cheapest.
Not even single ply, Ben. You know, that stuff that you get at the seaside that's like tracing paper.
And they're using it's like shower gel from the Premier Inn, but not like a nice Premier Inn, like one from
You're thinking of Travel Lodge.
Kettering Services. Yeah, Travel Lodge. That's what I'm thinking of.
Like Lenny Henry wouldn't endorse that.
No,
Premier Inn,
it's basically
good night guarantee.
It's basically washing up liquid. It's not meant for human bodies.
Wiping your bum with crisps.
Chris, what flavour?
Salt and vinegar.
Oh.
Get in touch on the socials, guys. What would be the worst flavour of crisps to wipe with?
Probably one of the spicy ones, surely.
Surely one with like sharp edges, like squares.
You know when you eat a crisp and you don't chew it properly, and you like stab you on the way down.
Yeah.
Imagine that on the way up.
I can't think of a flavour of crisps that it would be good to wipe with. Each one I can think of is more bad than the last.
Siposi, cream and chive.
Yeah.
Prawn cocktail.
If you've got access to crisps, surely you got access to a crisp packet, so just go for that, innit?
No, they just give you in bowls.
Oh, fuck.
In prison.
Get handfuls. They can't give you a bowl, use it as a weapon. They can't give you I guess they give you crisps. Crisps can't use crisp as a weapon.
Yeah.
Someone like the Maniac Cop might be able to fashion.
I like in Arrested Development, they use for a shiv they have sharpened noodles, which are like ramen noodles that they're sharpened. Yeah. Got stabbed by a sharpened noodle.
Oh, what a way to go.
Yeah.
Matt Cardle doesn't go down to sharpen noodles though. He gets stabbed with horrid knives.
He also just go like that across his face. Like they draw it with a marker pen.
Yeah.
Right over.
They start properly slicing out his face.
Maniac.
Yeah.
You're a bloody maniac cop.
They're all just kind of jabbing him at the end as well. We get from Matt Cardle's point of view as they're like just
stabbing the life out of him.
Yeah.
Stabbing the shite out of him.
The shite out of him. Yeah. So he
John Barrowman here.
Yeah.
My bloody money back. Maniac Cop was shite.
So he it's all over for him. The Freddy Nightmare on Elm Street music ends, and the flashback is also gone, and we are back at the precinct where Bruce Campbell, old Blamiac Cop himself, Frank knows the score. He's going to get him out, but they haven't arranged it yet. He brings in his partner, like she's come out of so Teresa's come out of hiding. And she is going to, they're having a bit of a chat about it, but before they can really resolve anything, oh no, that's it. Frank goes up to the records room, only to find out there's more than meets the eye to Sally Noland. She beats him to the inch of her life with her cane.
Yeah, so it's absolutely fucking him up. Yeah. She's hysterical. Yeah. And then I think she's almost like, you've been digging too much, and now Matt Cordell, X Factor winner 2006. I don't know.
You won't need me no more.
He's gonna turn. He won't need me anymore. He's gonna turn on me. Yeah. Do we find out a bit about her? How she got that thing? She jumped out of a window.
Jumped out of a window. Yeah.
After
he died last time.
After that happened to Matt Cordell. I don't even know what's his.
Cordell's the film one.
Matt Cordial, apple and blackcurrants. So she was in a relationship with him, and then after he died, she threw herself out of a window, but only ended up hurting her knee a bit. It was a bungalow, and
just scraped it on the flower bed.
Oh. I've suffered too, you know. My
flowers you walk in and you stand with your ankle that way.
Oh, it goes on the side.
No.
Gets me every time.
Absolutely not.
I'm surprised her cane hasn't been hollowed out. She hasn't got like a little knife in there. That seems to be that would have explained so much.
A little sword.
She only had the materials to make one.
Just the one knife. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it pretty much all kicks off.
Yeah,
to a ridiculous degree.
Yeah, she beats up Frank and then goes out the room and then has a panic because one of the other just guards has been hanged.
Yeah, so he's just hanging there. He's been noosed, and then Cordell.
Well, Frank is quick to Frank's quick to forgive her. He goes, "Oh, quick, come with us." he sort of rescues her, but then she gets like pulled through the glass of a door of an office.
Gets yanked through the glass. That was a bit Nightmare.
So is he?
As well, wasn't it?
Is he outside, hanging on by the wall?
He's just in an office, I guess, and just thought, close this door.
But no, he pulls it through the window, right?
Oh, he pulls it through, isn't it?
It's just like a glass door in. There's like a glass window. In a door into an office. He pulls it through.
Spider-Man outside. Yeah.
A nice frosted glass. He pulls her through a frosted glass and then
puts her up against the wall, and he's like throttling her. And obviously, Frank tries to shoot him, but we already understand that he's barely bulletproof, mate.
He's barely bulletproof.
But there's various like other officers all dead. Like if you notice, a few that the characters don't even react to. They're just like in the background just to set the scene of Cordell being a.
There's loads of people. There's loads of people that are dead. There's someone else that Teresa finds. Like she goes, "What are you doing? Open the bloody door!" And he's been killed, but has been left standing perfectly still against the door
with the bars, like just.
Yeah.
All right. All right, let us out. Oh, he's dead.
And then he pulls through and he's dead. Frank tells Sally's just been got, right? He just throttles her and she just puts her on the table dead.
Yeah, just dead. There's a really weird moment as well where like a police officer turns up and turns the gun on Jack, immediately saying it's him who's done all this, and he like reacts to Sally's dead body, like screams, like
Well, this is after everyone's been got, right? Because let's reveal it now. So. Jack sends Teresa down and says, right, wait, like go and wait in Frank's car. If I'm not back in a couple of minutes, hotwire it, as all people in the 80s can do. We'll go.
Hotwire it. I don't know how. You don't know how.
And we'll go.
Pathetic.
Meanwhile, Frank gets tossed around the filing cabinets and bashed into everything. And then mace windowed.
Mace windowed.
Yes, mace windowed.
Out the window. Out the window he goes and smashes into the parked car. So Teresa knows that he's gone. Jack then wanders in, finds out that sees that Frank is gone, and this is the bit that you mentioned, Ben. Another cop comes in and says, "It's bloody you, wasn't it?" He goes, "It wasn't." And he gets surprised by Sally's dead body, just surprised enough to get absolutely sucker punched by Bruce Campbell.
Yeah. Bang! A weird turn of events. So yeah, and then pretty much Jack realizes it does look like I'm responsible, doesn't it? Bloody hell!
But I'm not, I promise, and I'm escaping.
Him and Mallory just escape, and the first thing they do, it seems like it's the next day. Like they go home and have a little sleep first, or somewhere.
Yeah.
They go to find the medical examiner who pronounced Matt Cordell dead. His career dead, at least.
He was like, this second single's not anywhere near as good on a tweet.
Yeah, faint signs of life, but pretty much brain dead. No, the second song's good. Get out of my office.
So they go and see him, and they take the meeting that Frank had already set up to try and find the truth. I think that's what he says in their last meeting, is I'm going to find out that he wasn't really dead. And at first, the doctor's really adamant, said, no, he's dead. And he even has a little bit of a flashback to when he was doing the autopsy. But as we learned from the flashback, feels a little pulse in the wrist, and he starts giving him a little bit of CPR, which, as we know from Fear Street last week, bit of CPR. It's like Calpol. Yeah, a bit of that.
CPR just sort you right out. So, and apparently he just released Cordell into Sally's care. Like Sally's like, let him come home with me. I'll make him a nice bit of soup, and we'll sort him right out. He won't be a maniac cop.
He says like, oh, I couldn't let him go back to prison. Because
then he get killed again. That's what he says.
If you're getting killed again, it's like,
won't get killed again.
Is there anything we could have done about that? Was there a type of protective custody? Didn't think about it, to be honest. I just thought binary choice. He goes to prison or not, and I thought I'd let him go. Plus, I'm not a bad doctor. He was brain dead, which in many ways is a type of dead. Brain dead has got dead in it, so dead. He just scribbled brain.
Doctor, everyone you've pronounced dead in the last year is at a pulse, and we've just taken him to the morgue. Yeah, well, you got to sort out what dead is. I don't know what dead is and dead isn't.
Yeah, dead is a spectrum. It's not a binary thing. So yeah, that then overturns what we already know about Matt Cardle. We thought he was a ghost and a mega zombie a little while ago, but now apparently he's alive again.
Alive and kicking. Well, mainly strangling, not really.
Alive and strangling, and he's about to go to the St. Patrick's Day parade, where he's going to hopefully get his biggest targets of all, the mayor and the chief of police. And I love this sort of thing now where they have like the thing that is definitely not true. It's like, well, he's going to be at that thing. So just think, Matt Cardle used to be a really good policeman. He goes, yeah, but whatever he loved, he now hates. What? Is that true? Like, is that why he kill? Because he doesn't just kill policemen; he kills innocent people. Like, does he
when
not?
When he was alive, he loved crazy golf. Now he fucking despises it. It's not crazy enough.
Yeah. Now I'm a maniac. I've got a different standard for what is crazy.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah. He wants proper, true crazy golf, like the kind of crazy golf where they don't tell you. Well, they don't even tell you, but like there's like LSDs in the handles, and then when you tell it, it like turns to a snake in your hands.
It's like tree trunk poison.
Truly crazy golf. Yeah, in this crazy golf, gravity doesn't work in the way you'd expect it to.
I jumped feet first down a hole. I did. Whoa!
Just had a quick look at some of the taglines for this film. It's quite curious if that would be one. Everything you loved, he hated, but it's not. There isn't that one. There's he prefers to kill instead of protect, which is kind of in line with that.
I mean, it's not what he does; it's just what his preference is.
Yeah. Sometimes help can be dangerous. That's not a good tagline. Yeah, this is a good one.
Sometimes help can be dangerous.
That could be like a janitor or anything. You have the right to remain silent forever.
That's good.
That's the best one. That is the best one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Mallory goes into the building where like the commissioner is, and she's basically going to go and tell them exactly what's what and say Matt Cardle's alive and he's the one doing all the murders. But they like go, we don't believe you. We're going to get this random mustached man to arrest you while we go off to the annual St. Patrick's Day parade because we're already late. There's no one in the office.
And this is a weird kill scene, right? Because they go, oh, thank goodness we are fine and not going to murder. And then it's like a shot from the end of the corridor with the door just closing. And then who's on the other side? Maniac Cop.
Maniac Cop.
Stab.
So the guy who like arrests Mallory, like cuffs her, he's like, we got the office all to ourselves. What the fuck? Who's this twat?
Yeah.
But yeah, he doesn't last very long. Not in that way, but in the murder sense. He gets murdered, and then obviously Mallory's dragging his lifeless corpse along. How does she get out? Oh yeah, she just gets the keys and
she gets the keys and is able to escape as Maniac Cop is beating down the door, smashing his way through.
Yeah. And then she climbs out out of the window. Oh, she throws a chair out first, and she climbs out onto the ledge. But then she's trying to. The police on the ground level notice Jack and go over and grab him.
Yeah, they kind of notice her wrestling with an unseen figure on top of the thing, and then climbing down a fire escape, shouting at them. And they go, "We know what to do. Arrest that man!" And they go, "Is
that Jack Forrest over there? Get him, all of us!"
Yeah, and they literally run over like classic like oi 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 police, and they just arrest him. And they put him in the old. Well, I'm not sure. Does this phrase fly anymore? What they describe their police van?
I don't remember. What do they call it?
So whack him in the old paddy wagon, and I was like, oh,
did it? Oh God,
not thought about that
on St. Patrick's Day as well.
Yeah. I've not thought about that anymore. I've not thought about that in a long time. Probably probably not okay to call it that anymore. Police.
I mean, there's a Maniac Cop around. Every other police officer looks slightly better
compared to him. Maybe that's it. Maybe he's trying to turn around the vision of the police was just by and actually your average policeman, even if they have some problematic nicknames for their vehicles, they're not maniacs. But as soon as Jack is in the truck, Maniac Cop that he tosses the driver away, tosses the driver right off onto the side there, and then steals it in an insane move, which I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah, what is he doing? But he's basically drives it back to his little hideout that he's got going on. But Mallory and Jack tag along. Hold on.
Well, Jack's in there.
Jack's in there, of course. Yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
I'm getting confused.
So Mallory goes after them.
Yeah, she gets another police officer
who now knows the deal because they've seen Maniac Cop now.
That's right.
And they chase after them. They do a classic 80s bit of a jump over a hill in the car.
Love it.
Yeah.
When they get there, though, the other officer pretty much gets killed straight away. Then he gets shotgunned.
Yeah, can you handle a shotgun? Yeah, better than you, mate. Maniac Cop is trying to chop his way into the thing, and Jack does a great video game moment here after he's done some great Bruce Campbell dancing around in the back of the truck while it's moving. So Maniac Cop is breaking in, he's chopping at the door, and he goes, right, he's going to be through it, ready, steady, and then when he chops the door finally, Bruce Campbell uses that to then run at the door and ping it open. He goes under him.
And we see Maniac Cop's face for the first time, don't we?
Yeah.
He's disfigured. He's got some slices on his face. He's not quite full Freddy Krueger messed up. He doesn't look like he's brushed his teeth in ever.
Yeah.
His teeth
looks
like caviar.
Taking the advice of a dentist.
In some of the sequels, it looks like he goes full zombie.
Yeah.
I've not seen any sequels. Have you seen?
I think I've seen 2.
Yeah, goes a bit Jason.
Yeah.
Go on, sorry.
So pretty much what happens now. Cordell tries to get away again.
He does. He gets in the truck again. They're shotgunning at him. They have a team fight. So Mallory and Jack, they fight him. They're trying to shoot at him with a shotgun. He gets a shotgun, and then they fight it. Bruce Campbell's attacks appear to be more effective against him than anyone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when he's driving at one point, doesn't he he's distracted by Bruce Campbell, and he just drives, there's a pipe impales him.
Yeah, as you said, Matt Cardle, he puts his famous song on. When they collide, they come together.
When a pipe collides with me nipple.
Yeah.
When I crash, this van will fall apart. Yeah, and then the sort of mast or the pole or whatever it is, when it hits him hard, and he goes, oh, and they fall off. Bruce Campbell would have been killed as the truck would have landed on top of him. He sort of pings off into the sea.
Yeah, that's good.
And then the police arrive. They extract the van. They pull it out of the sea. Everyone's on board with it now. He is no longer Maniac Cop. He's everyone knows that Maniac Cop is a thing. They're all pointing their guns.
Oh, it wasn't you after all then. Who was it? It was the Maniac Cop. Oh,
makes
sense.
The Matt Cardle. And they all point their guns, but he is gone, lost forever to the whims of the sea. But is he? We have a look down at the bottom of the docks there. See a little tiny hand.
Little tiny hand coming out. I mean, it could be someone else. Who's to say it's him?
Could be a weird New York fish poking out.
So I watched the extended version, and there was a different ending in this.
Oh, what's your ending?
Extended version. Yeah. So we got that, but then in the extended version, there's a bit where the mayor, because in the extended version, there's scenes with the mayor cut between throughout the film. The mayor's just panicking and hiding out in his office and worried that Cordell's going to come and get him. But when he's in his office having a drink to celebrate Cordell being dead, finally, for real, Matt Cordell is behind a curtain, and he comes out and we hear the mayor scream in, I guess, pain as he's murdered.
So, or just surprise. Oh,
surprise! Oh, Matt Cardle, I love you. Can you sign this for me, please? Yeah, that's it.
Cool. So that's the name game. If you guys are ready.
Oh yes.
Mm-hmm.
So this first one I watched is about a killer dressed as a janitor who starts murdering innocent people on the streets of New York City with his wet broom.
Maniac Mop.
Maniac Mop. Another one is killer dressed as a nurse begins murdering innocent people on the streets of New York City with a Q-tip.
Q-tip.
I guess we call them a cotton bud in the UK.
It's called ear pokers.
Ear pokers. Maniac.
I guess so.
Pop.
Is she?
Ear.
What was that? Okay.
Maniac Pop.
No. But she, this nurse is also trying to do COVID tests. Let's go with that.
Maniac Swab.
Maniac Swab.
Maniac Swab.
Right. I'm still sorry. I can't stop thinking about wet broom.
That's very good. Very good.
Killer dressed like a big mouth begins murdering people on the streets by talking them to death.
Maniac Cough.
They're talking to death.
Your face.
Very talky, chatty, going on and on, killing people.
Killing people. Is this a?
He's a shite.
Oh, Maniac Gob.
Maniac Gob.
Maniac Gob. He's a gobshite.
Maniac gobshite. Killer naked, surprisingly, with his meat and tackle out, begins murdering innocent people on the streets of New York City with the power of his penis.
Maniac Knob.
Maniac Knob. Meat and tackle. He's got it all out, mate. He's showing off.
Okay, well, two more. A cop dress in a lab coat begins arresting people correctly based on the crimes they've committed, using nothing but the power of his mind.
Brainiac Cop.
Brainiac Cop. And one last bonus one. The cop dressed in... Oh, no, completely missed it. A cop dressed as someone else begins framing another person for murders of a maniac cop.
Framiac Cop.
Framiac Cop.
Brainiac Cop. Oh, very good.
Yeah. Okay. I need to rate the film then. I don't know. I feel like most of my reviews, most of my ratings have been around this mark recently. So maybe I need to be a bit more
polarized.
Braver. Yeah, but it's very difficult to polarize me these days. Right down the middle.
What you mean? I know what you mean. We haven't watched anything that's been like, this is a bloody masterpiece, or the opposite for a while.
Yeah. I was going to go B. I've got B minus, sorry. I think it's a pretty fun slasher. It's one of the better slashers. I just feel like the storyline's a bit... I don't think we need to know more about who the main character is. A bit more Bruce Campbell time. A bit more of an actual character arc for him, maybe. But it does everything that you kind of want this kind of film to do, though. And it's an interesting concept for a slasher.
I've just spotted something. Sorry, sorry to drop in while we're rating this film. Jake LaMotta, aka the Raging Bull, the Bronx Bull, the actual boxer, is apparently in this film, uncredited as Detective Motta. That's weird, isn't it?
There you go.
That's weird. Sorry, but yeah, B minus. I was going to go for a B plus, but then Jake LaMotta's in it, so I'm like, don't rate it.
There you go.
I think B minus because it's a good slasher. I had a lot of fun with it. It's a bit silly, and it's got like some horror royalty in it. So
he's the guy who tells Thingy that his wife got killed from ear to ear.
Oh, that's him.
The weird guy,
the deep voice detective.
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go. Yeah, for me, Maniac Cop. I can see the other bits. It's got a little bit of Michael Myers in it. It's got a little bit of Freddy to it. I'm going to try and be a little bit... I'm not going to go quite as high as you guys. I'm going to go C+. It feels like part of a bigger thing. I might revise that when I've seen what the second part looks like, but it feels like this one is another one that's set up to just roll to something else immediately. And I think that at times it's a little bit confused to go higher.
Yeah.
And there are other, like, sometimes it revels in its excesses, like with the kill that's like with that guy that's pulled out of his car. And then other times it feels like they ran out of time and imagination, like with, the former informant, Maniac Cop, who gets like just strangled and put on a table. So there are bits they don't execute on so much. But I did really like the music. The music is great.
The music was good, yeah.
The music's fantastic, and I like Bruce Campbell and his slapstick acting. So still good, still a C+, still enjoyed it. But for me, it was neither wacky enough to be a sleepaway camp or iconic enough to be in the Halloween world.
Have we done some sort of rating of like our favorite slashers or anything like that? 'Cause that'd be quite a fun little bonus episode to do, or bonus feature of some sort. I feel like I'd have a
like favorites from a couple of different subgenres. So like, I don't know, slashers, body horrors.
Yeah.
A third thing.
Yeah, like we each come and would say that top slasher films, and we each bring like our 5, and we do a round robin. An idea, perhaps. Ben, I didn't catch your rating. Did you go?
I've gone for. I went for a B- as well, same as you, Luke.
Yeah.
2 B- and a C+, practically the same rating.
Yeah. Cool.
Playing it safe.
Yeah. And that's what this film is. This film does, you can say it plays it safe, right? You could design this from a whiteboard. There's loads of really great factors to it. So I'm defending our playing it safe. No one call us shite on a video and tag us in.
Yeah. So next week we're going to be doing M. Night Shyamalan's Old, which I think would be a fun one to do. There's quite a lot to talk about in that film.
Yeah. Unless Andy can't see it. And
in that case,
if he can't see it, we'll do Werewolves Within.
Yeah.
So it could be either of those. So if you tune into next week's episode, it'll be a nice surprise for you. It might be neither of those films. Might be Flubber.
It might be
At
Flubber.
this point, it could be Flubber. Yeah. Cool. All right. Thanks for listening, guys. If you enjoyed the episode, you can become a patron. We're at patreon.com/Hawk and Cleaver. Thanks to Kovac Kalman for our theme music. Thanks to ACAS for hosting the show. Thanks to the listeners. If you enjoyed the show, please consider rating and reviewing. Join the Facebook group Horror Hangout Board of Advisors. I just realized I've said this nearly 180. Well, this will be 188 times. I think I've said it.
Are you factoring in the episodes you missed into that? Right? Wow.
187 times, maybe. No, 186 times. I don't know. Who knows? Who's counting?
Who knows?
Ben, obviously.
You might say it in your sleep. You never know.
I do say it in my sleep.
Do you ever practice it in the mirror? The intro and the outro?
No, but I think that maybe like the very first time, I maybe said it out loud a couple of times to get used to it.
Really get the feel of it.
Yeah. And thanks to my co-hosts, Ben and Andy, for being right horror dudes.
Oh, yeah. Thanks for having me, guys. Oh, I forgot to say, for the anniversary this year, 4 years.
Oh, my God.
Time I joined you.
Yeah.
The Andy-versary.
Even that seems strange because, I mean, we were doing it a little while before you. That must have been.
Well, no. Well, so you joined. It was like episode 20
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was a little while. That's a little while before you. Wow.
Half a year. Oh, there. Yeah. Madness.
Yeah. The passage of time means nothing to me anymore.
Yeah.
4 years. Anniversary.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having us, guys. What a time.
Here's to another 4 years.
Yay.
4 more years. Right.
4 more years. Your Andy Conduit Turner banners outside your house right now.
Yeah.
Right. I will catch you later, guys. Bye for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.